Okay, so let's talk about something that hits close to home for all of us: money. Do you ever feel like it's not quite going where it really matters? Well, we're going to dive into the Islamic divine order for spending. And trust me, some of these ideas might completely change how you look at your finances. Have you ever caught yourself, or maybe someone you know, doing this? It's a strange contradiction, right? We can stroll into a fancy store and spend thousands on a brand name without even blinking. But then, a few minutes later, we might find ourselves in a heated negotiation with a rickshaw puller or a laborer over what amounts to spare change. It's a really common thing, and it shows that maybe, just maybe, we're a little confused about our financial priorities.
So where does Islam say we should start? The answer is simple: right at home. You see, there's this huge misconception that giving to charity outside the family is the ultimate good deed, while spending on our own family is, well, just an obligation. But that's actually getting it backwards.
Islam puts this incredible spiritual reward on taking care of your own. Just listen to this powerful hadith. Raising your daughters well, providing for them, puts you right next to the Prophet on the Day of Judgment. That's unbelievable. And the same idea applies to spending on your spouse, your sons, your whole household. It's not just a duty, it's a direct path to paradise. And this is where we need a major mindset shift. That grocery bill, the school fees, the new pair of shoes for your kid, that's not a burden. It's not a drain on your bank account. No, it's an investment that pays out dividends for you in this life and even more so in the next. All right, so once our immediate family is taken care of, that circle of responsibility gets a little wider. It expands to our relatives, and this is where we find this beautiful, incredible promise that's tied directly to how we spend our money. The key concept here is Sila-Rahmi, maintaining your ties of kinship. Now, this is way more than just sending a text message on Eid or showing up for weddings. It means actively supporting your relatives, especially when they're in financial need. And look at the reward: an increase in your own provision and a longer lifespan. It's a direct promise. And get this, there's a fascinating, almost practical benefit to this. The sources tell us that when you spend to help your relatives, God blesses your own health. It's like your generosity acts as a shield, potentially protecting you from future sickness and those massive medical bills. It's a spiritual investment with a very real-world return. Now, this naturally leads to a really important question, one that a lot of people get confused about. Who can you actually give your zakat to? You know, that obligatory charity we have to pay each year. When it comes to relatives, the rules are super specific.
Okay, let's break this down. The rules are actually pretty logical. You can't give zakat to people in your direct line, so no parents or grandparents, and no children or grandchildren. Why? Because taking care of them is already your direct, non-negotiable responsibility. But, and this is the part we often forget, you can, and in fact should, give zakat to your siblings if they are in need, or your nieces, nephews, aunts, and uncles. If your own brother or sister is struggling financially, they have the #1 right to your zakat before anyone else.
All right, so we've covered family and relatives. Now the Quran guides us to help the Miskeen, the needy in our community. But here's the thing. Figuring out who that person truly is in our modern world takes a little bit of wisdom. You know, our first instinct is often to give to the people who ask us for money on the streets. But we have to be aware that in many places, this is an organized business. The sources are clear that these people, while perhaps in difficult situations, are often not the Miskeen that the Quran is talking about. So who is the real Miskeen? The truly deserving person is often someone who is suffering in total silence. They're the dignified, self-respecting people in our neighborhoods or our extended circles who would never, ever ask for help. They're struggling, but their honor prevents them from begging. Our job isn't just to give, but to actively and discreetly seek these people out and help them in a way that preserves their dignity. This leads us to a really practical tip for giving wisely. Let's say someone comes up to you and says they're a traveler who's been robbed and just needs money for a bus ticket home. Instead of just handing over cash, which could be used for anything, a better way is to offer to go with them and buy the ticket yourself. That way, you know your help is genuine and is going exactly where it needs to go. So now that we know the who, let's talk about the how. Because it doesn't matter if we're spending on family, relatives, or the community, there are some universal rules that apply to all of our spending. And one of the biggest ones is the prohibition against wastefulness and showing off. Wow, just let that sink in for a second. That is one of the strongest statements in the entire Quran about money. Being wasteful or extravagant isn't just a bad habit, it's a serious spiritual problem. We're talking about spending beyond what's needed, simply for status or to show off to other people. And think about the social damage this does.
When we throw these incredibly lavish weddings or parties, it can feel like a slap in the face to a relative or a neighbor who is barely making ends meet. That kind of public display can create deep feelings of resentment, of unfairness, and in the worst cases, it could even push someone to do something desperate. Simplicity in this case protects the whole community.
Okay, so let's tackle that awkward situation. Someone asks you for money, but you either don't have anything to give or you have a really strong gut feeling that it's a scam. What do you do? This is a dilemma we all face, and Islam actually gives us a very clear code of conduct.
The instruction is so beautiful and simple. You must never, ever scold, shame, or humiliate someone who asks you for help. Even when you have to say no, you have to maintain your good character. A kind word, a simple prayer for them like, "May God make things easier for you," is the perfect response. You don't have to give them your money, but you are absolutely required to give them your respect.
Phew. Okay, we have covered a lot of ground. So, how do we take all of this knowledge and actually apply it? Let's boil it all down into a simple, straightforward action plan for everyday life. Here it is, nice and simple. Number 1, your absolute top priority is always your own home, your spouse, and your children. Number 2, after that, look to your relatives, especially your brothers and sisters. Number 3, that contradiction we started with, stop haggling with laborers over small change. Be generous, pay them a little extra, and just consider it a private charity. And finally, number 4, recognize that your health and your time are also blessings from God. Don't waste them on things that bring no real value.
So as we wrap this up, I'm just going to leave you with one final question to think about. Based on everything we've talked about, this divine order of spending, the next time you get paid, the next time money comes into your hands, who truly has the first right to it? Think about it, because the answer might just change everything.